fresh back. Look at him. Good morning, guys. We just got our wash at the Blue Beacon, and we're heading on home from here. Dang, she looks good right now. I love how Levi looks after a nice bath. All right, here we are dropping off. There's ice down there. I was backing into this spot really tight, and it felt like my darn steering wheel was gonna, or my front steer tire was gonna come off. But it's because of all this crap here. I was just dragging my steer tire. I don't know what all that is. It's slippery. It's like ice, man. Got a new bezel for that light. Damn things keep falling off, so when I buy them, I buy the ones that have the screws in them so they don't fall off as easy. It's harder to do with one hand, I'm telling you what. Ta-da! Yeah, whew, this is slippery. Golly, wow, look at this. I think I know what that stuff was, just soap. They wash trailers out here in those doors in front of us. So, looks like it's just probably soap running out, making the ground super slick. Now it's really hard to press the pedals without slipping. That's the thing with this truck. These pedals are just, I don't like them as far as, you know, how they're hinged. Because when you press on the pedals, you're effectively pushing your feet up along the pedals. You know, where like, because they're hinged at the bottom. So, you know, like most trucks, the pedals are hinged at the top with an arm. And those are a little bit, I don't know, they seem a little safer in my opinion. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about safety. Nice and clean. I love the paint job on here. Well, sort of. I realized it was done in Ohio sales, but I like the color, I should say. I like the color of it. That metallic blue. I love metallic. Gotta say too, man, Last weekend, well, when I was home, my wife showed me something that really made me mad. Speaking of metallic paint jobs, her van has a metallic paint job on it. Pretty expensive paint job, right? Well, somebody keyed the hell out of it. She was somewhere with the kids last week, and it's deep. It's down to the metal, deep enough that I don't think I can I don't think it can be buffed out. I want to know who the hell feels entitled enough in this world that they can go around destroying people's private property. That just really pisses me off. That is not a cheap van. I worked my ass off to pay for it. You know, that is, it just baffles me. It baffles me that somebody is that entitled to think they can do that. It just blows my mind. Anyway, let's go home. It is a gorgeous day today. Gorgeous. Perfect temperature. It's just amazing. I don't know if they really like me parking here. They haven't said anything yet. But yeah, look at this though. I literally just shut the engine off, or I just got here 20 seconds ago. It's a heck of a leak. It's gotten far, far worse. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to make sure that gets dealt with. I've already called the shop and let them know I want them looking at it when it comes in Monday. Say it fits just fine in the driveway. Picked up one of these today. The thing that really sucks about these mud flap hangers is that none of the rings or bezels around the taillights are secured very well. They're just kind of tucked in there. So I lose them from time to time going down the road like that one, and it just looks horrible to me. So you got chrome, 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 black. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one on here that actually has screws to secure it better. All right, that looks a lot better. Much better. All right, now we got to take some tools back to AutoZone that we rented. Well, the kids wanted a little ride before I went back to work.
Hi.
Just giving them a little ride around the neighborhood real quick. Then we'll get on the road.
Hi. Hello.
Careful, God. Hey, careful.
My name is Kinley. You might have seen me in some other videos.
Oh man, guys. I'll tell you what. Doesn't really matter if you're gone for 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 months. It can be just as hard leaving the house sometimes. I love you, sweetheart. Daughter seeing her dad off. But yeah, she did not want me to leave tonight. But yeah, she was really upset that I was leaving this time. I'll be back on Friday. Today's Wednesday. But like I said, it doesn't really matter sometimes. They don't understand it. So it makes it that just as hard to leave the house sometimes, even if you're just going to be gone for a couple of days. Makes it, pulls at your heartstrings just as much. Now I'm sure you all know what it's like leaving the house, having your kid not wanting to let go of you. Alright guys, we just stopped for a little fuel. I already did a little walk around with my my hammer, and kind of knocked on the tires a little bit, made sure they were good to go. Just kind of walking around though, give my legs a stretch, get the blood flowing, all that good stuff. Bezel's still on there, so that's a good sign. I'm telling you guys, look at this. $4.49 for diesel here. Where every place else with my discount, it's no less than $4.70 or $4.80. Yeah, $4.80. So without a discount, this is 30 cents cheaper. There you have it, 206 gallons. $928. Always got to shake the tip. Now we're going to go park and finish out a 30. Finish the drive. I like this sheets because it's exactly the halfway mark. So we'll go another 240 miles and we'll be there. Well, we did about 5.8 miles to the gallon on that fill up. Not the greatest, not the worst. You know, typically I like to be up around the 6 mark, but 5.8 isn't terrible. So, like I said, the best I've done with this truck is 6.5. So 6 is, if I take it easy, 6 is about where I'm usually at. But 5.8, it's for this truck, that's pretty decent. Turned on the green APU while I had lunch. I'll shut that off. I'll go out there and just check the oil. Some guys may not know this, so some guys that watch this that are, you know, that understand it will be like, well, yeah, of course you got to do that. But you always want to make sure you leave the truck off for a while before you check the oil, so that it all collects in the oil pan. You know, with a car, you might have to only wait a minute or two to check the oil after you shut it off, but with a truck like this, I've checked the oil 30 minutes after shutting it off, and it looks like it's a little low, but then I'll look at it again a couple hours later and the level's risen. So it takes a while for these levels to, or for the oil to drain all back into the pan. But you know, you want to give it as much time as you have time to give. So I'm gonna go out there. It's been sitting out for probably a half an hour. I'm just gonna go check it real quick. Again, like I said, in 30 minutes it may not even have all of it down into the oil pan, but it'll be better than, you know, checking it on the fuel island. A lot of guys will check it on the fuel island, but it's not sat long enough to collect into the oil pan, so kind of gives you a false reading. But we'll go check it out. Already sunrise. Now I did put some oil in while I was at home, but because of how steep our driveway is, it's not a good way to read either. It read full when I put the oil in, but it's a pretty steep little grade, so all the oil's in the back of the pan anyway. Yeah, it's on the half mark, which that way I know it's at least safe. But odds are, if I can get it in the dipstick tube, odds are if I gave her a couple more hours, that line would be up closer to the full mark than it is now. So, you know, like I said, but we know that it's safe, so I really need to, I've already talked to the shop. I'm going to have it in there this next week and have them find out what exactly the leak is. Hopefully they can take care of it right away. Well, or at least they can get to it right away, so. Alrighty, look at that sky, even though the sun's coming up behind us. It's something I'd love to get for this truck, but it's purely cosmetic. I'd love to, you know, it's not something, again, it's the same thing as the steering wheel. I don't really feel the need to worry about it right now. But one of these days, I'd love to find those stainless front fenders off of a 379X. To put those on here. I think that would look really cool on this blue. That'd look really good. I wonder if I could make the justification though that because of the shininess and how easy the wind would flow over that extra shiny stainless steel fender, I wonder if it would, you know, I could use the justification that it would get better fuel mileage. What do you think? And then it's not just cosmetic, it's functional. But no, I really would though. I'd love to get. What are you doing, dude? I thought he was gonna turn right into me. But yeah, I'd love to get a set of those fenders. Those would look really, really good on here, I think. show you the problem with having big boy tires and everybody else in your fleet has little tiny 22.5 low pros. I'll show you. We'll get them jacked up and get the truck under it. It's all good though. That's what happens when you buy a real truck. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this taken care of so I can get out of here. Right, ladies and gents. Let's get on out of here and go find us a truck stop, shall we? I always do like 4 or 5 tug tests before I go. Maybe overkill, but never be too safe. It's like those guys that you see rolling down the highway with a steel coil and like 30 chains. It may seem like overkill, and it really is, but can't be too safe. I say as I pull out of here and drop my trailer. Alright, let's get out of here.
Number 2, the real deal with the back seat.
Spirit! Alright.
Mother Nature out there. You're fading in it. I ain't hearing exactly what all you're saying, but I do hear you when Mother Nature brings you in. I done smoked that joint a while back.
Waiting for that guy to say candy cane. Candy cane.
Yeah, your radio's getting out. Now I can hear you out there, but you're fading in and out. No conditions are fading in and out over here. I don't know. It ain't about what you're running, it's about Mother Nature. But it helps on you know what you're running, but hell, if you got a 10 pill, 2 pill, 1 pill, whatever it takes.
Brand spanking new, and it's from the 90s. was thinking right before I saw that really nice truck that I just took a video of, about what I wanted to say at the end of this video. Really had a lot to do why I like that truck. But that was probably like a 96, 97 Ford F-250. Just a really good looking truck. My wife asked me the other day, she said, you know, why is it you like older cars? You know, what is it about older cars and trucks that you like? Because, you know, she obviously likes newer, more modern technology, cars, things like that. I mean, she's not a car person, but as far as, you know, she chooses to drive something a little more modern. You know, my Jeep, to me even, it's a 2011. She asked me why I liked older cars and trucks. And, you know, obviously considering this Peterbilt Levi, an older truck. And there's a couple of reasons that I told her. One, which, you know, the older vehicles are what I grew up with. As a car guy, you tend to hold on to the memories of cars that you grew up with. You know, cars that, even if you didn't own, or even if, you know, like nobody in your family had, those are what came out when you were a kid. Those are what rolled off the assembly line when you were a kid. And it's the cars that you dreamed to own. And I guess your dreams mean different when you're a kid, because you don't think about the monetary value so much. You just want that car. I like the cars more that I grew up around, you know, because I've had a lot of Jeeps, and the majority of my Jeeps have been from the 90s, especially Wranglers. I love older Wranglers. I've had four YJ Wranglers, which the YJ is the Wrangler built from 87 to 95 with the square headlights. You know, that's like probably the fuggliest Wrangler that that Jeep ever made. But not to me. That Jeep, and now that Jeep was owned by somebody in my family very close to me. That was a Jeep that was owned by my dad. He's who I, you know, got my love of Jeeps from. In 1986, he bought a brand new 87, the first year for the YJ, for the Wrangler. He bought a brand new 87 Jeep Wrangler, and he owned it for 25 years. I was born in 85, so he bought that Jeep when I was a year old, and he used that Jeep as the primary family vehicle until I was 18 years old. That was the family vehicle, was that Jeep. And he owned it until I was 26. Put over 300,000 miles on it. I've just got a sentimental attachment to those older Wranglers. One reason why I really like these older cars and these older trucks like Levi here is there's something about, like I was thinking about this when I was driving over here to Harrisburg earlier this morning. There's something about having an older vehicle, which it's funny because as a semi truck, a 2005, you kind of think of as the same way as like a car from 95, you know. It seems older than a car from the same year, and I don't know why, but it just, I guess because of the mileage, I don't know why, but it just kind of does. There's something about an older truck in a car that feels good when you can keep it running good, and you can keep it looking like new, the interior looking like new, the smaller things working right. You know, like I was driving up here to Harrisburg, it was 45 degrees. I had the HVAC set at the perfect temperature, and it was maintaining it. You know, it was just, like I said, it's a small thing, but it's like, but it keeps me as comfortable as a newer truck would. And this is a truck that I grew up loving. I loved, you know, granted this is an 05, so I was well into adulthood by 2005, but the 379 remained unchanged, you know, until the 389 came along in 2008 with the more aero headlights. I mean, it was still a boxy truck, obviously, but it had a, you know, but they did some touches to it, you know, new headlights, things like that. And I'm not a fan of those newer headlights as much. I like the squared off looks, you know, on the 379. And this truck was this design through my entire childhood, you know, so whether it's a 95 or a 2005, it's the same truck on the outside. Someone might argue with me and say, oh, well, the mirrors are cornered differently. The corners of the mirrors are designed differently, something like that. But you know what I mean. They're essentially the same truck on the outside. Yeah, the interiors changed over time, but the exteriors remained relatively the same the whole span of the 379. And there's something about keeping a truck like this that was your dream truck as a kid, and keeping it looking as new as you can. Granted that there's a lot of imperfections with Levi, but keeping the interior clean, the carpets clean. I've got that oil leak I got to work on, but that's mechanically the only thing that's wrong with this truck is that oil leak. Now I'm getting an average of about right around 6 miles per gallon with the truck, which is really good. And like I said, it's just there's a self-satisfaction to do it to maintaining a vehicle like this, and that's what I like about these older trucks. A long time ago, I forget when it was, probably back in 2012. It was right before my wife and I got engaged. My parents had a old Lexus ES300, 1998, and other than that, I've had 2 other Lexus cars. I love Lexus and I love Jeep. I bought myself a 98 Lexus GS400 back when I was 18. That was that was a sleeper is what that car was. And then, a couple years ago, I had a Lexus GX460. That was a phenomenal SUV. Phenomenal. But anyway, they bought a new Toyota Avalon, and they didn't need the Lexus anymore. And they were they just offered it up to me. They were like, hey, do you want the car? And that car was the car that I drove I drove it in high school. They had that car when I was in high school, back in 02, 03, and I drove that car. And I thought I was a big shot in that thing, high schooler driving around in my parents' Lexus. Oh man. But so yeah, they gave it to me, and that sucker had 240,000 miles on it, and not a lick of trouble, not a lick wrong with that car. It was in great shape. So yeah, I accepted it, and it was dirty as hell though on the inside. My mom was a heavy smoker, and the car, they never clean the inside of their cars out ever. So it was dirty, very dirty. And I remember I spent all day detailing the inside of that car. And it took me all day. But it looked amazing when I got done with it. It looked nearly new. And the feeling that I had, this was like I said in 2012, and the car was a 98. And the feeling that I had for making a car with 240,000 miles that was 14 years old look as good as that did, it was a great feeling. And it's just a feeling that you can't surpass if you're a car guy. Anyway, that's a long-winded answer to that, I guess. But yeah, that's another reason why I absolutely love Levi. It's so satisfactory when I can be cruising down the highway at 70 miles an hour, I typically go about 65. But you get the point. Going about 65 miles an hour, averaging around 6 miles per gallon, and that's going through the hills of Pennsylvania with 40+ thousand pounds. Then when I park, I can just go back to the sleeper. It's got a decent sleeper. It's got the amenities that I care about. It's got a refrigerator, and I can make it look as close to new as possible. Like I said, what I want to do next is these pedals here, they were originally coated with a black, and I assume it was kind of a grippy black, like a rubberized black. And now they're not rubber, now they're not coated anymore, and that makes it kind of dangerous. If your foot gets wet, or you get a little bit of, like say you get in your truck after fueling and you unknowingly stepped in some spilled diesel, and you get in the truck and you step on that pedal and your foot just slides right off the pedal like ice. I want to take these pedals out. I could just replace them, but again, there's something about restoring something that it already has. because the pedal's in perfect shape. It just needs recoated. And I have an abundance of Plasti Dip at home. So, you know, what I might do is take them off, take them home, and just put like 7 or 8 coats of Plasti Dip on the pedals. You know, that's it's a aerosol rubber. That's what Plasti Dip is. So, you know, once you put, you know, the more coats you put on there, the more effective it'll be as far as grip goes, I'd imagine. And, you know, and we'll see how durable it is with that many coats. You know, one coat on there, you just rip off. But if you put a whole bunch of coats on there, then that might help. And if not, then who knows, maybe I'll go get like some spray-on Rhino liner or something and coat them. But since I have that at home, I'll just use it. But anyways, I got a headache from hell right now. That's why I'm talking the way I am, just trying to keep the headache from getting worse, I guess. So I'm just going to go hit the sack right now. I'm tired, and I just want to get rid of this headache. Just, you know, painful headache. So anyways, guys, you all have a good one out there. Be safe and keep surviving to thrive. And you know what? I don't know when this video will be published, but right now it's the 8th of October, and it could be a few days before this video goes out. I don't know, because I've still got a whole nother video to edit yet to post. But as of right now, I really want to appreciate, or take time to appreciate, all the new subscribers. I don't know why, but man, I gained like 100 subscribers in a matter of a day and a half or something like that. So typically the algorithm hates it when you don't list a video for a while, so you don't, you know, you're not in the mentioned videos very often. And so, you know, I hadn't posted a video for a while other than that meaningless video about selling the Jeep. And that really wasn't for you guys per se. That was just for anybody that is interested in the Jeep. You know, it wasn't my typical content, obviously. But I posted that last video, and man, it had a whole lot of views. I mean, for me, anyway. You know, I don't know what it's up to right now, but you know, it gained like, I don't know, what was it, like 8,000 views or something like that in the first day or day and a half again. So I don't know what happened, but hey, I appreciate it, guys. I do. I appreciate all the new subscribers and followers, and all the old ones too, obviously. Everybody that stuck around and they're still paying attention to the videos. I do appreciate it. But anyways, again, guys, you all have a good one out there. Be safe. Keep surviving to thrive. And we'll catch you on the next video. Later.